All right, let's get this thing rolling today. Let me see here. Hello everyone, welcome to map class. I decided today that I'm going to go back a little ways and cover a couple topics that we did not do that are pretty basic for making your first map. And the first thing is we never set up a default vehicle XML file, so I'm going to do a default vehicle XML file. I'm going to show you how I do it, which there are several different ways to do it, but we're going to get started by, let's jump over to our map and load that up in the editor. Now what you're going to need for your default vehicle setup is the coordinates of where you want to place the vehicles. Now you could create a save game with a bunch of vehicles that you want in it and then copy the coordinates, but I like to do it a little differently so they get all lined up nice and you don't have a bunch of extra junk in your folder that is not needed in your default vehicle XML file. So what I do is I create a transform group, and we'll grab that, and basically it's just a point. We're going to control B and click it here on the farm site, and let's see, is that where I want to put some vehicles? Yeah, that works for me. And what I'm going to do is put it where I want the first vehicle in a row to start. So let's say we start it right there. What I'm going to do is grab this X coordinate. I'm going to make it so it's a nice round number, 573. It's a lot easier to type. And we'll make the Z coordinate at 711. Those are the minus 711. And you're going to want to write these numbers down. I always keep a notepad on my desk. And 573 X and minus 711 for the Z coordinate. That's where I want vehicle number 1 to come in. And vehicle number 2, I'm going to drag over to the direction where I'm going to have them all lining up. And we'll call that minus 657. So it's, if you notice, the X coordinate stayed the same at 573. And minus 657 is about where I want to end with my vehicles. Once you have those numbers, we can actually exit out of the map. We don't have to save anything because all we're doing is getting the coordinates where we want default vehicles to pop into our map. I'm going to load up our map. Let's see if I can get my the map class folder going. And I'm going to select the vehicles for the map that I want. We'll start a save game 13, lucky number 13. Thanks for the host, Viper. And welcome everybody if you're just showing up. We're doing a default vehicle XML file for first starters today. Gonna try to catch up on a few things that are necessary for map making that we kind of skipped over. And the first one is our default vehicle XML file. So next part, I'm going to give myself lots of money with the money mod. I'm gonna go into the store and I am going to go to the garage and sell off all the equipment that I don't want to have. These are all the starting equipment all over the map. Get rid of everything.
Then entered channel.
Dave?
Yes.
Sorry to bother you, but you're hosting Big Daddy right now and I hear no audio.
Ha! I'm hosting Big Daddy? Let me see what's going. Is that better? Let me know.
You're also on the Hunter.
Alright, let me fix that too. I'm a little bit behind times here, I guess. Well, we're going to start over. Because everybody's missing what I'm doing. So, let's get this back up. We'll get started in just a minute. Seeing as everybody's missing what I was saying.
Can move to farming channel.
Let me just double check real quick, make sure everything's the way we want it here. We'll get going. Seeing as everything was all out of whack, I apparently forgot to take it off of host mode last night. I'm just gonna pull up my page here real quick. Alright, let's see. We're getting it going. Although, it says my video will begin in just a second. Alright, it looks like I'm good. Everybody good? See me okay? My advertisement screwing everything up? I don't know. Anyhow, as I was saying, today we're going to do a little bit of a step back and we're going to cover a couple topics that we didn't actually cover previously that are essential for making your map. And the first one is creating your default vehicle XML file. So as I was saying before, that you guys all missed, I'm going to load up the map and our map class map. What I'm going to do is decide where in... Now, there are several different ways to set up your default vehicle XML, but this is really probably the most proper way. You get just the information you need rather than having a bunch of extras. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a transform group, an empty transform group, just by going to create and then transform group, and it puts it right at the bottom of your list. Control B, left control B and click when you have the transform group highlighted. We'll bring the point over to where, and I'm going to set up a row of where I want my default vehicles to appear. Default vehicle row number 1 is what we'll call it. And basically I put this point at a rough starting location, and I like to round off the numbers. How's it going, Jeff?
Good. Sorry about that. I didn't realize you were hosting me.
I did it by accident. No problem. Okay. So anyway, we have X of 573 and Y translation will make it minus 713. So you're going to want to write these numbers down somewhere and remember them, and make sure you have the negative 713. And then what I like to do is I drag across my arrow to about where the maximum area of where I want to put my default vehicles is. We'll call it minus 652. That looks good. The 573 stays the same. So x of 573 to minus 652. So that's the area I want my vehicles to actually come in on the main farm. And if you wanted to do a separate location for more vehicles, you just do the same thing. Get your starting and ending coordinates for a row. And then once you have that, you can exit out of your game. Or your map mate. And then we're going to load up the game real quick. And we'll create a blank save game. And it doesn't matter really what you do, just create a save game, load it up. Slot number 13, got to remember that one as well. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my store and sell off all the vehicles so I don't have any junk in here that I don't want. And just a minute, we'll get through all of these. And I'll probably end up buying some of them back, but it's an easy way to make sure I don't have any extras in here for starting off here. And the weights. Alright, now that I have no vehicles, I'm going to add a little bit of money with the money mod that I have installed. And decide which vehicles I actually want, which we definitely need a harvester. So maybe I want to start you with the step up here. We'll buy one of those. And we need the header for that harvester, which we'll start with the very feed. And basically go through, select every tractor that you want, every implement that you want to start for starting equipment. We need a tipper. We'll bring in the AgriLiner. And you get the basic idea. You probably want a front weight for your tractor. We'll give them the 1,000. And you can see my stuff coming in over there. Sewing machine. And what else do we need? Maybe we'll add a fertilizer spreader on as well. Did I forget anything that we would want to start off a farm with? We've got a tractor to pull our thing. Everything looks good. So get the equipment you want and you can just save your game. You could drive it over to where you want it, but you don't need to do it the way we're setting it up today. We're going to set up a nice clean vehicle XML file, default vehicle file. And I saved a game, so I'm going to open up Documents. Underneath My Games, Farming Simulator 2015, Save Game 13. I'm going to open up the Vehicle XML file in Notepad++. And I'm also going to go to our map, which is right here, and find the default vehicles XML file, which is the one we're going to be editing, and edit that with Notepad as well. And we don't need the log open right now. So this is a basic starting Mac Nordic starting equipment. We are going to change all of this stuff, so I'm going to delete every entry right here except for one. And that works. And let's see. Do a little bit of a split screen here. I don't know if you can see that well enough. I'll blow it up a little bit bigger. Alright, so we have one ID left for a vehicle name. Basically, what you want to do is find each of your vehicles. And we're going to start out with the New Holland, and I'm going to shrink this down a little bit this way. We've got the New Holland and the New Holland header. So what I want to do is grab the actual XML file name right here, and I'm going to paste that right into this, over the top of this one that I saved. And then go to my X position, and if you remember the positions that I told you to write down, the X and the Z, the Y offset stays at 0.5 all the time. But I'm going to take the first coordinate, which is on the left, which is X of 573, and my Z position that I saved was minus 713. And we're going to go down, and the rotation we will figure out very shortly. And we don't need the tour ID part at the end, but you could leave it tour combine. I'm going to take that right out. Keep my file relatively simple. So what we basically have is one simple combine in our vehicle XML. Next thing I'm going to do is save our default vehicle XML file and just jump right back into the map real quick and make sure the first piece is facing the direction I want. Once we do that, we can get them all in there. Save game 13. Actually, we got to start a new one. We don't want to. We'll start one in 12. Because now we're starting a new game, it's using the default vehicle XML, and we should just have the one piece of equipment in there, and it should be that harvester appearing right where I wanted it to, but we don't know yet what direction it's facing. That part gets a little bit tricky. So here it is. I want to spin it 90 degrees. I personally don't care which way it's facing, other than I don't want it facing that fence, because the row is going to go from this side to over that direction. So we'll quit that. Go back to our editor, and because it was at a rotation of 180, we're going to just bring that back to 90 degrees. Here's where the fun part begins. We have a header. So let's copy this line right here. We're going to get the header and the rest of the equipment in. I'm going to put another vehicle line right below it. And let's bring this back over. Grab the New Holland header file name right here. And copy that one right over the top. Now, if you remember when we were setting this up, the 573 always stayed the same because we're lining vehicles up on that axis, but the header has to be in line with the vehicle itself. So what we're going to do, and it's a little trial and error when I do it this way because I don't know which way, but the 573, we want to put the header in front of it, so we're going to make that a 570. I usually add 6 for a header, so because the combines are usually quite long, so we'll make it 579. We may have to come back and make it 6 in the other direction, but the 713 is good. Everything else is fine. And I'm going to load up one more time and see how that works. Once we have one piece of equipment, the rest of them are going to go a lot easier. And one more boot up here. There we go. So you see the header needs to be rotated at 180 degrees, but it is in the front of it, so where you got the right place, and that's where vehicle number 1 is going to come in. Headers are often tricky. They always end up being backwards than where they are. So let's go back out, and then we can set up the rest of our vehicles in line 1. We know the header is in the right position, but we want to rotate it. And because it's at 90, if we make it minus 90, it'll flip it right around. So that's vehicle 1 set up. Next, we're going to just keep on going down, but this will go a lot quicker because we already know where the locations are for first vehicle. We'll copy that one. And, whoops, hit the right key, paste a new line. Vehicle number 3 is our Buer tractor. So we're going to copy that one in place right here. And this is where the, whoops, make sure you get the whole thing, XML. This is where you get that second coordinate. Everything's going to stay on the X position of 573, unless it's got to go in front or in back of it. But the 713 decreases down to 652 is the maximum, minus 652. And usually a good spacing between vehicles is 5. So what we want to do is keep subtracting 5 for each new vehicle. So 713, it would go to minus 708. And everything else can stay the same there. Go to our next piece. Whoops. I thought I had the, that's right. We need to get the whole line here. And we're going to find our weight for, let's see, we got the weight is right here, the sewer B. Copy the weight in front, and again we're going to want to go in front of the tractor with the weight. So we need to change the 73 to a 79. Simple as that. And we'll keep going down. Here, let's move this down a little bit further, make it easier. Copy my last line. Oh, let's see. So we got the Buer, we got the New Holland, we still need the trailer. So we'll put the trailer right here on this one. And we have 579 minus 708, which we want to decrease by 5 again. So minus 703. And we have the next implement right here, the Pottinger. So we'll create another line. And I'm going to do a couple of them real quick so I don't have to keep copy paste. We'll grab that one, put it right here. And I always, whoop, caps lock's on. There we go. 703 minus 5 is 6 minus 698. And the last piece is our fertilizer spreader right here. And we'll put that one right here. And again, 698 minus 5 is 693. Make sure you have. Now we could go all the way to 650 on that line, but there's one line of vehicles we're going to load in, and you may have to make a couple minor adjustments to them. But that is step 1. We'll load up another save game and see. It does take some work, but makes a nice clean XML file that doesn't have a bunch of useless information, but we're going to show you a little bit more of what you can do with it also in a minute.
Jeff moved to farming channel.
Now if we go in, you'll see we have a line of vehicles, and you can move them forward, backwards, but it's basically all in a line. We might want to put the trailer actually behind, which would just be going in the other direction. But there's your starting vehicles all on the lot, ready to go. And I'm just doing this relatively quickly. The weight could have obviously be moved a little bit closer. It doesn't need to be as far out in front as we had it for the harvester. And why is my Q key not working? I have no idea. There we go, because the tour thing was on. Silly me. But there you go. So you can basically set up your default vehicles very easily. Now we're going to go over a couple of other nifty little things. And that is, before I leave here, I'm going to purchase a Brantner trailer. But I don't have enough money. Let's grab a Brantner trailer. Let's see, where is it? Right here. And I am going to make it white. Why not? Okay. Next thing I want to do is I don't think I have any mods installed, but I do want to show you how to bring in a mod right into your default vehicle XML as well. But we will get into that. I'll show you basically on another save game that I have. We always have mods in them. We'll pull one out of one of my other save games. We don't need this default vehicle XML here, this one here. But let's go to, I believe I saved that as save game 12. No, I didn't. Which one did I save it as? 8? I can't remember. We'll just pull up one here. We'll find the information I need, even if it isn't a Brantner. Alright, there it is. Save game 8. And what I'm going to do here is grab the Brantner trailer information. Actually, let's put this one more line down. And now I'll copy that over. And change my position on my Z by another -5, so 688. Give it a little space. Now, reason why I chose the Brantner is because you have this wonderful option right here that you can copy in as well, which is your color. Now if you take that color, and this is something a lot of people don't realize, so I'm going to throw it in here. Let's put it right at the end here. And if you're familiar with we did a class where we were doing some coloring, what was it? I can't even remember. But we brought up the web page I showed you guys. Let me see if I can find it real quick, where you can actually create your own colors. And I do have it bookmarked, but the question is, can I find it? Let's see, colors. And I cannot find it right now. But basically, let me try doing a Google search for where is my page? What I was going to show you, even though I don't have the page bookmarked. Let me bring up my other browser. It's probably in that one. We'll find it here. I know I have it somewhere. I got too many bookmarks is the problem. Here we go. I'll throw up the link for you guys. It is right here. Handy little color converter. And I'll bring that onto my screen real quick. And basically we can convert from, we can actually see what color is selected by typing in these three numbers, 0995, right down here, 0.995, and they're all the same. And if we convert from percentage, it's white, because that's what I chose. Now, if we wanted to get a different color, let's say we wanted to actually and this is where I use GIMP again, so we'll load up my GIMP here real quick. You could select any color in the palette and have it be done, but what I'm showing you here is that you can actually make colored vehicles that are not in the color palette at all. So we'll select here, and there is no pink vehicle, and I know that, so I'm going to make a really hot pink Brantner trailer, and these are the values: 299, 84, 100. So if I go back to my web page, which I have open here, 299, 84, 100, and I convert, I should be getting, did I get the right 299, 84, 100? Oh, I'm on the wrong, 252, 40, 255. You need the RGB values. 255, 254, 40, 255. Let's see, 252. So grab those right like that. Now you can see that we have the nice pink there. And I just minimized everything on my other screen somehow. Alright, so these are the values you want to replace. The 0.988 goes into the first one. And next we have the 0.156 and then just a 1. So if we go to 0.156 and then the last one goes to 1, and the very last one you can keep there. So we should have a bright pink Brantner, just like everybody always wanted. Next thing I wanted to show you, which I will bring up on another site here. Let's see. I'm going to go into my folder on Pleasant Valley, and we'll show you how to import a mod as a starting vehicle. So we'll go to PV version 2, default vehicles file. And basically, if you see, the ones that are mods are very easy to point out. What you have to have is the $mod directory $, the name of the zip file, and the name of the XML file as your vehicle file name. So if I want to import my box trailer, I would need to have the PV box trailer in my map folder, but very simply, in between $, you type in the word mod directory, then the name of the zip file without the .zip, and then you'll find the XML file for that mod right in there. You could also import it into a save game, and if I show you one of those, we can bring that up. And you can copy that as well right from your save game. And let's go to Start, Documents, My Games, and save game. I think that save game 3 might have something. No, it's not gonna. Let's try this one here. See if I get lucky. We have lots and lots of mods, but not the right ones. So anyhow, you would get right in your save game file and your vehicle XML. You can get your full directory. Here's the mod name. You just want to grab that. Here it is right here, the file, mod directory. That's the part you want for the file name with the $. Just copy it over and you can bring in anyone. Anybody that has one of those in their map, you're going to have to supply the mod for them, or it's not going to show up and it's just going to throw an error in the beginning. But meanwhile, I'm going to jump back in here. Yeah, it would be nice to do metallic colors, but I don't think you can do a metallic palette. But you can experiment with other cool colors. And even though they're not in the color palette, we should have a really nice, if I save the file. Did I save the file? Yeah. We should have a really hot pink Brantner trailer at the store, or at the shop here. There it is. So a little known way to get colored vehicles that are already colorable, any color you want, right there. Nice hot pink Brantner trailer. A little bit too much maybe, but you know, if you're doing a Hello Kitty farm, you can bring in your pink trailers. The other last thing about your save game file, your vehicle XML file that I'll show you real quick is, and let me grab a file here to do this with. I'm going to go into my mod folder and find a placeable object here. What do we have? And I don't care if it throws a... Here, we'll grab the placeable silos. And go into my map class folder. And put the placeable silos, and there will be some errors because we don't have all the fruit types on our default map. But this part is pretty easy as well. Just go in to a empty save game. We're going to call it save game 12, so I remember that. Remember that for me, save game 12. The black polka dots on the on the pink trailer. We can't do the black polka dots, but you can make any color you want on the rainbow with RGB values. Alright, what I did was I purchased a placeable object, and I'm going to be a little crazy right here to make it easy. Right across from the store, I'm going to grab a simple corn silo and put it right here. We can't do it in the parking lot where there's no grass. We'll put it right here, close to the store. And there we have a placeable silo. You can see it there. If you want to include a placeable object at the start of your game, save your game, and it's pretty much the same process. If you bring up your your documents, I got to get rid of some of these folders. My Games Farming Simulator 2015, save game number 12. Now if you open up your vehicle XML file, which is right here, you will see that underneath all the vehicles, which have all IDs, there is an item called a placeable silo. And for that, just copy the whole line, go to your default vehicle XML, paste it over here. You don't need to have all the digits after. I like to clean it up. We'll leave a couple after each of the numbers rather than having a billion of them. it gets so precise you don't really need it. So I'm just going to clean it up because I'm anal that way. There we go. Placeable silo. Save it. Now if we start a new save game one more time, that placeable silo will be in at the start of the game. And because I'm running out of save game slots down here, we'll delete a couple. Save game 8 works. And if we look over, did I not load a clean save game up? Because my placeable silo should be there. Let's look at our error log. Error reading end tag. So yes, you did not copy a part of my end tag. And I'll show you what happens. So always, and I'm going to get, that's actually good because the next part of this class is going to be all about reading your errors and figuring out exactly what's going on. So let me go back to my default vehicle XML in my map class, and when you get a error reading end tag, it could mean several things, but here we have I missed the very last tag of that, which is the item tag. You gotta have a closing and an opening, so it could not read the end tag. Now also real quick to show you the log file, and the log file on your computer, I will show you where it is and how to read it and everything, but I always have mine right on my desktop because it's so much easier. I just put a shortcut right on my desktop. When you do get an error reading end tag in your XML file, it actually tells you right here, and I don't know if you guys could see that, but it says 23. So that right there refers to the line number in the default vehicle XML file where I was having the issue. And it was because line 23 did not have an end tag for the item. So now that we got that fixed, we should have a placeable silo. That's already pre-placed at the start of a game. But yes, you're going to run into errors when you're editing stuff. Stardock Fences is really cool. I love it. You could try the 30-day free trial, actually, and I believe I have a command for Stardock, which is the desktop software I use, and it's called !Fences. Will bring you right to their website. But there you go. The silo right where you placed it will come in at the start of any game. And you can do any placeable item that way and give them a little head start by putting it right into your default vehicle XML file. And that's pretty much everything you're going to need to set up a default vehicle XML file. So I wanted to get into a little bit more on, a little bit more on error checking. As you saw, you can have the developer tools enabled and pull up your error log right in the game, but sometimes you might close down or you might miss. And what you need to do is find your error log, and it is going to be in your documents. My games, Farming Simulator 2015, and right in the bottom you will see a file called log.txt. Now I recommend for everybody, because it's very important, especially if you're using maps, to copy that and just paste a shortcut like I did. I'm not going to do it right now. Right on your desktop. And if I wanted to create a second shortcut over here where it'd be easier when I'm doing map class, now you can easily check your error log whenever you need to and look for anything. And again, when you're in here, if you want to do a quick search and find the word error, it'll tell you can't find the text error, so that's good. And you can also do a test for warning, not warming. It's not going to find warming unless you got some mod in there that's... And the only warning I'm getting is the zip mods are supported in multiplayer, and I always work out of my file unzipped until I'm ready to go to a server. But get used to checking your log file. Anytime you get a little error in there, you're going to want to check it out. If you have any errors in your file, look at the mods that are throwing them. I guess what the best, it's hard to say because there's so many different types of errors, but a clean log is going to make your server run 10 times better. And I wanted to, speaking of servers, I wanted to bring up for you guys on let me open up and log into my server on my other screen real quick. And I'm going to show you how to determine errors on your server as well. So here we go. I don't think you can see my password. Yeah, you could. Well, I'm not worried about that. But if you go to your mods section, I think everybody knows our administrator password. You'll see right now that under mods we have a couple of orange ones. Now these aren't critical. They're not really errors. If they are orange at the top, and the PV Rivers map that's on our server has 3 issues, and the John Deere has 1. What you can do is just click on the file name, and it'll tell you what those issues are. And they're not critical issues, but this is the first thing that I will be taking care of. And here are the 3 issues, and all 3 are space character not recommended in file name, and that's models. And you can see that I have a space somewhere right in between the words steel and drywall, and also I have one right down here on these 2. So what I will do is go into that map and rename those folders and reconnect the files. And actually, it might be a good idea to show you guys exactly how you got to do this, because it can be confusing for first-time people. So we'll get in there. In order to get rid of the models, 3D models, so we're going to open up my PV Rivers folder here. We'll show you guys that real quick if I can find it here. Let me minimize and open up here. Go into your map, and actually we'll go back to the server page. It's in the models, 3D models, steel drywall for starters. Models, 3D models, and you'll see there's a space between steel and the word drywall. So I'm going to just take it out, and that's all good because there's no more space in there. But the biggest problem with that is all the objects that are linked in the map are still pointing to the wrong place. So open up your i3D in your folder and do your search and find just the way it was before with the space in it. And you'll see right here, I need to remove that space there. And that's the only one. So that error is simply fixed. Just change the folder name so it doesn't have the space. So 1 out of there, and go back and you can repeat to get out models, road, new, Falu. Oh yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Models. Road. New. Falu. And I'll go back over here. Caritis. I don't know what these words are because they're all... Alright, so we got this ZDNE Plody folder. I'm going to just take out the space. Now, I believe both of the last two errors were the same one because it was referring to files inside that folder. But there you go, the ZDNE Plody files. So again, back to the map, and what I'm going to do is copy the first part. Whoops. I didn't mean to cut it. Here, we'll just grab the whole thing. Go back to your map. Open up your i3D in the editor. And I'm going to do a find, and I'm going to just paste this in there with the space in between. And find next. There it is. Remove the space. I can see one right below it. Remove the space. Search again. Can't find any more instances. So those three issues on the server will be gone. Let's go back to the server page real quick. There was one other mod, and I'm not going to do this one, but when I reload up to the server, all the orange files, this will go just normal. Get rid of the little warnings. The John Deere 9560 has one issue. Let's see what kind of issue it is. OGG audio files not recommended, 4 found, max 0. So there's 4 OGG audio files. And just so you guys know, real quickly, I didn't even prepare for this, but if you see right here on my desktop, there's a Audacity, A-U-D-A-C-I-T-Y. Google that. It's free. It's an audio file editor, and we can get into editing your audio files, but it will import your OGG files, and you can export them back as .wav files and save them in the correct format for Giants to recognize without actually having, there you go, without actually having to pay for anything, and it will get rid of all the errors on your OGG files. And it's basically file open and then file export as a WAV file, and pretty easy. Another class on that, because I wanted to show you one more thing. And then if you go on your server page and you click the settings tab, and this is where you can see what's going on with your log files. Click on the little log files, and this is what your server has while it's running. And if you go down through your server files and just look for any errors or warnings. And we do have one in a sewing machine that has to be fixed. I don't know what the heck that's about, why it came up, but I will take a look at that at some point. But this is how you get to the log on your server. Just scroll down, look for any place where you might have errors, and it looks like we're pretty good. You can even see where people have logged into the game as well. The game log is the one you're going to want to be most concerned with, but that's how you can check your game log and then go back to fix your errors. You do have the server log, which just tells when the server has been stopped and started and who's logged in. But for the most part, you want your game log. And there you go. So that's going to be it pretty much for today. Get used to checking your log. If anybody has any errors they don't know how to fix, you can leave a reply in the forum and we'll try to help you out. But learn how to check your log file is important both on your server and your local log file. And sometimes if you're running a game, if I was on the server right now, my local log file would have a similar to the server setup, but it doesn't always show the same errors in the local log file as you would on the server, even though it updates both of them at the same time. So For map making class, that will be it for today. I don't know what we'll have for Tuesday. I'm still trying to work on particle effects for that silly fertilizer master that we had problems with. But at 9 o'clock today, we'll be doing our preview show. One last look at version 2, and then we're actually started playing Rivers today, so join us for that. We added a few more things in there we can show you. I actually have a lot of buildings that I imported and are just laying on the landscape that I wanted to get your guys' opinion on before we put them in the map and see what you think. And the soccer ball. We have a soccer ball that's fixed. Also, if you guys went on last week, we gave out the link, which is the extras, ! Extras. We'll get you a folder with some extras in it that we released, a version 3.2 now of the map and so on. I have to apologize because the AR animal trailer that takes the chickens that I put in there last week was the one we're using, which no longer takes the cattle, the calves, and all that stuff. So I made a new version and it's been updated for tonight. I updated it yesterday. If you want to grab the new AR trailer, it'll actually take everything now, rather than just the beef, pigs, and chickens. So that's been updated. Also, ! Flashback will get you, for our Saturday show, we're going to do Pleasant Valley version 2. The second version of Pleasant Valley on Farming Simulator 2013. That will be at 7 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, Eastern Time. Eastern Standard Time. So you can check out, that's where you get the mods for that, and you will need Farming Simulator 2013 for that show. And I think that about covers it. So we will be back here in roughly 1 hour on Pleasant Valley with our wrap-up of version 2. A couple last things, and we're going to have a soccer game with the new soccer ball. And then we're going to head over to Pleasant Valley Rivers and see what's new over there. So thanks guys for watching, and we'll be back in about roughly 1 hour.